Germany has long been dragging its feet on switching to electric cars. Its own powerful domestic automotive industry has too much invested in conventional drive models. Nissan debuted the Leaf in Japan in 2010 and in Europe in 2013. In the 3 production years since, the British Sunderland plant has rolled out some 50,000 vehicles. Most of them bypass Germany for buyers in Norway, Britain, and the Netherlands. Car tester Ines Petri explains that so far, electric vehicles have been languishing in a niche market in Germany, partly because of their high price tags and partly because of their limited range. To help with the first problem, the German state is offering buyer incentives. To deal with the second problem, Nissan has introduced a new 30 kilowatt-hour battery. The additional 6 kilowatt-hours have extended the range from 200 to 250 kilometers on a charge, but that hasn't changed the other specs. The Leaf still blows from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 11.5 seconds. As a locally emission-free car, the Leaf puts out no CO2. With the €5,000 buyer incentive, our test car lists at €31,785 in Germany. Ines adds that even if the Leaf only reaches a top speed of 144 kilometers an hour, it has very good torque, 254 Newton meters. Nothing to gripe about, especially when starting from a dead stop, with the electric motor delivering maximum torque as soon as the driver puts the pedal to the metal. The Leaf's powerhouse, its electric motor, can still be found under the hood, but the battery's 48 modules are tucked under the front and back seats. The instrument cluster has 2 fan-like gauges, the speedometer above and the charging status with relevant data on energy usage below. Ines mentions that drivers of electric cars will notice that when they let off the accelerator, the motor switches to regeneration mode and starts recouping energy from the car's momentum. But many people have complained about it, so Nissan Leaf includes a selector for D and B mode. D mode means the moment the driver lets up on the pedal, the energy put into accelerating the car is more or less lost, as in conventional gasoline-powered drive. B mode turns on the regenerative system to recoup energy and extend range.
Dann nutze ich wirklich diese Eigenschaft des Elektromotors aus und rekuperiere, sobald ich den Fuß vom Gaspedal nehme.
Drivers who've taken time to familiarize themselves with the technology will appreciate the B mode and the energy it saves. There's yet another function that helps to extend the Leaf's range. Ines points out an eco button on the steering wheel that sets the car's driving characteristics. She can be economical with the energy or make full use of the motor's 80 kilowatts of power. When passing other cars on the Autobahn, for instance, it makes sense to deactivate the eco function. Ines has one more tip for saving energy. The most efficient way to go is to start out in B eco mode and get up to cruising speed as fast as possible. Then set the cruise control to maintain that speed. The quick charging station brings the new battery up to 80% capacity in 30 minutes. An important factor for buyers is whether the range meets their personal needs and if they'll be able to charge the batteries at home, independently of public charging stations. Using a cable with a Schuko connector, the Leaf can be charged to 100% in about 13 hours from a regular household outlet. When charging at a public station, the cable can be secured so it can only be disconnected once the batteries are full. And the Nissan Connect EV shows the location of all the stations in the vicinity, while the battery's charge level can be displayed on a smartphone. Ines decides that from a technical standpoint, there's no longer any reason to shun electric cars. The range, the driving style, and the handling leave nothing to be desired. And for daily use, an electric car is a great way to get around. Nissan provides a guarantee for 8 years or 160,000 kilometers on their new 30 kilowatt-hour batteries. If they start losing charging capacity in that time, they'll be replaced for free. Car tester Reinhold Deisenhofer is amazed at how quickly time flies. It's already been 5 years since Audi debuted its new Q3. At the time, it was the only rival for BMW's X1. In the meantime, the lineup of premium SUVs has grown considerably. Mercedes has entered the race, and even Jaguar has rolled out a premium SUV. Even so, the Q3 series has been a bestseller for Audi. In an effort to build on its success, Audi has given the compact crossover SUV a facelift. Reinhold is going to try out the dynamic sport and efficiency modes. The suspension can be set to any one of the three with Drive Select. The Drive Select sets key handling characteristics according to individual taste. For instance, the optional adaptive suspension. It combines nimble handling with advanced safety features. We tested the most powerful diesel offered for the Q3 with a 135 kilowatt output and an S-tronic 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. On both front and rear, horizontal lines emphasize the Q3's broad shoulders. Audi's designers have refined the coupe lines and the characteristically sleek wraparound tailgate. The S-Line sports package on the car we tested made for a nicely dynamic impression inside and out. The €1,900 charge for the trim includes the 3-spoke leather sports steering wheel. The seats hug driver and passenger like those of a racy sports car. The back seats have room for 3 passengers. But the 460 liters of cargo space is a bit on the small side. Reinhold says the engines are powerful but efficient. His only criticism is that from the side the taillights look somehow off-kilter, but the well-integrated headlights make up for that. In Germany, the Q3 starts at about €30,000. The RS Q3 is a bit sportier. Its 2.5-liter TFSI engine puts out 250 kilowatts and leaps from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.8 seconds. From the racetrack to the road, the AMG GTR. Mercedes-AMG has never packed this much motorsport technology into a mass-produced car. From the transmission to the suspension to the super lightweight design, it's made for speed. The GTR tops out at 318 kilometers per hour. It's due to launch in Europe in March 2017. Honda is finally bringing out the second-generation NSX. The 3.5-liter twin-turbo engine provides the bulk of the power, but the NSX also has 3 electric motors. It was developed and built in the U.S. Honda says it delivers just 50 of these cars to Germany a year. The entry price for the new NSX in Germany is €180,000. Emanuel Schäfer says Volkswagen first launched the Up in 2011. That's quite a while ago, so it was time to freshen it up a little. This is the latest generation of the Up. It boasts a new engine, new features, and above all, new colors like this honey yellow. Or this one, red. Or here, teal blue. Or Costa Azul. Or Habanero Orange. There are 13 colors available in all. But now it's time to hit the road. The Up comes with more standard features, including new LED daytime running lights, but the entry-level price is actually lower than that of its predecessor. Even at a glance, the new Up appears fresher and more dynamic. And things have also changed under the hood. Emmanuel says the 1-liter 3-cylinder engine in his test car offers 66 kilowatts and 90 horsepower, and it's turbocharged, making it pretty nippy. Those looking for more safety features can order the City Emergency Braking System. That kind of thing is rare in this segment. At speeds of less than 30 kilometers an hour, it monitors the distance to the vehicle in front via laser sensor and applies the brake if necessary to avoid an accident or reduce the impact of a collision. The optional cruise control makes it easier for the driver to stick to a given speed limit, especially over long distances. The changes to the exterior are subtle but nevertheless noticeable. The Up has grown up, if you like. The fog lights are optional. Customers can also opt for the roof pack, where the side mirrors and roof are in black or white to pose an attractive contrast to the rest of the body. The indicators on the new Up are now on the side mirror. The new engine is only available starting with the second level of options, the Move Up. The big selection of colors available for the exterior also applies inside. There are 10 different dashboard designs, allowing customers to personalize their vehicle. But the biggest change on the inside is the navigation and infotainment system. Drivers can link it up with their smartphone. Volkswagen has provided an app especially for it. It's called Maps and More and has a little Up logo. It's quite well done. And once you start it, you can make selections. You can use the navigation program that you have on your phone, or listen to music from your phone, or call up some of the car's technical data, like the oil temperature or the revs and so on. It's quite useful.
Also insgesamt wirklich gut gemacht und auf jeden Fall praktisch.
Otherwise, the interior fits in well with the overall look. The back seats are comfortable and offer sufficient legroom for a short or mid-range journey. Or if you fold them down, you'll have 959 liters of cargo space. According to VW, the Up uses an average of 4.4 liters of gas per 100 kilometers. It can get from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in less than 10 seconds. The top speed is 185 kilometers per hour. Apart from the TSI, there's also a choice of 2 other gasoline engines with 44 or 55 kilowatts. These are available with sequential 5-speed automatic ASG. There's also a 50 kilowatt engine that runs on natural gas, but like the TSI that we've tested today, it's only available with a manual transmission. In the new Up, VW has focused on connectivity and customization, 2 areas that are driving the market right now. Emmanuel says the new engine has definitely given the car a boost, and it's now really fun to drive. Our auto tester Matis Kurat says he'd planned to go camping today in the Siebengebirge region, but it looks like it's going to rain soon. That could make life difficult if you're in a tent. So he's going to stay in a Marco Polo activity made by Mercedes.
Nämlich den Marco Polo Activity von Mercedes-Benz.
Trailer for sale or rent.
The Marco Polo Activity is a camper version of the Mercedes Vito light van. Unlike the standard Marco Polo model, which is based on the more luxurious V-Class line, the Activity doesn't have a built-in kitchen and has a simpler dashboard. Both models feature a pop top made by Westphalia, plus double beds.
King of the road, third boxcar, midnight train, destination Bangor, Maine.
Fährt sich
Mattis says the activity handles a lot like a V-Class or a Vito, sort of a cross between a delivery van and a passenger car. This vehicle is easy to drive. You get a clear view of the road because of the high seat position and the relatively straight window line. The activity promises a comfortable drive on short hops around the city and on vacation trips. But can it really combine the comfort of a luxury car with the practical accommodations of a camping van? Mattis says the activity is certainly a lot more comfortable than a tent, particularly in bad weather. You can turn the seats around too. That gives you a lot of extra room to be able to kick back and relax. And there's an easy way to get more headroom. The Marco Polo activity features a pop top. Now there's even room to stand up in here. There's a bed up here. You just fold it down and there's plenty of room to relax. He plans to try that out a little later. And there's a table here, but it's a little low for Mattis. His knee's in the way. But the height can be adjusted quite easily, and then it's not bad at all. The Marco Polo activity can sleep 5 people, and 3 more if you fold down the back seat, which does involve quite a bit of effort. The headrests are removable. You can store them behind the seat. That's a pretty practical idea, but how does the bed feel? Mattis says it's okay. It's halfway flat now, but he finds it's not particularly comfortable. Mattis brought along a few items that'll make the van feel more like home, because he was worried about that. Seat covers and fitted sheets. He spreads out the cushions to make it comfortable. You can buy these kinds of accessories from your Mercedes dealer, but why pay for added extras like these? You can make things really comfortable in here. It's about 1.5 meters wide. There's room for 2 people to sleep here, and you could probably squeeze in 3. Let's see how things look on top. Seems like the host is all settled in. Mattis says it's a lot more comfortable up here than it is down below. The mattresses feel great compared to the slat frames down there. It's cozy. And you don't have to worry about falling out because of these bed guards. You can attach them up here and on the sides. It's a really important safety feature if you're going to be traveling with small children in this vehicle, as there would be quite a way to fall otherwise. Time now for our bottom line assessment. It's still raining, and the table and chairs that Mattis brought along are soaked. They didn't come with this vehicle, by the way, but they are available with the standard, more expensive version of the Marco Polo. One thing that Mattis didn't care much for was the interior carpeting. If you're on a camping trip, you'll be tracking in all kinds of dirt. Plastic floor tiles would be much more practical. Overall, Mattis says the Marco Polo activity is fun to drive and it's very practical. But there's not a lot of demand for these vehicles and quite a number of different models. So take a close look at all the options and choose the one that's right right for you.
Doch für die Nachfrage ziemlich groß. Und da muss man natürlich abwägen, welches Angebot für einen selbst dann das Beste ist.
If there's an epitome of the classic car, then it's this two-seater. Together with the Chevrolet Corvette, the 1955 Ford Thunderbird is the American sports car. Manuela Feicht is a fan of classic American automobiles, and especially her 55 T-Bird. She loves the way it looks, but she also appreciates its performance. The first-generation T-Birds had 200 horsepower. By comparison, Porsches built at the time had only 70. Manuela says she's fascinated by the V8 American cars of the 1950s because they have a lot of displacement and power. That gives them their typical blub-blub engine sound.
Schönes Blubbern, Brabbeln, das hat was.
Manuela's interest in automobiles is no coincidence. Her father was a car dealer, so she grew up on chrome and oil. She says that even as a little girl, she played in and around cars. Her father taught her how to drive almost as soon as her feet could reach the pedals. She's always been a car enthusiast. She was born with gasoline in her blood.
Ja, so ist mir das praktisch in die Wiege gelegt worden. Also ich habe mehr oder weniger Benzin im Blut.
The T-Bird was a hit from the moment it appeared in showrooms. Marilyn Monroe rode through the United States in a Thunderbird on her honeymoon. The car remains popular because of its clean styling. As of 1958, the T-Bird became a four-seater and lost much of its charm. Even in goldenrod yellow, the car doesn't look overly ostentatious. That's part of its appeal. Manuela says that people wave and applaud when she drives by and adds that vintage cars put people in a good mood. They like a bright yellow vintage car that has lots of chrome and sounds good. She says she's never had a negative experience in her Thunderbird.
Mit dem Thunderbird noch nie negative Erfahrungen gemacht.
The 1955 T-Bird was surprisingly affordable. Aficionados call it the early bird, and they say it's the most attractive car of the car's 11 generations. Its size is modest for a U.S. car of its era, and it fits in a standard European garage. People began collecting T-Birds over 30 years ago, and fans have always been able to get spare parts. If its mileage weren't so poor, 20 liters for 100 kilometers, the Roadster would still be considered a relatively practical everyday car. Its technology is simple and reliable. Manuela is even able to do some of the repair work herself. She says that in one case, she photographed the engine and then enlarged the print. One day, when the engine wouldn't run, she compared it with the photo. She figured out what was wrong with the engine and fixed it. The T-Bird packs a muscular V8 engine under the hood. Competing models from the time, like the Jaguar XK140, only had 6-cylinder motors. With 4.8 liters of displacement, the engine delivered around 200 horsepower to the Ford-O-Matic 3-speed automatic transmission. Other cars have since bested the T-Bird's performance, but none has ever matched its sound. First-generation T-Birds are becoming harder to find. The technology was robust, but the exterior was prone to rust, and bad weather took its toll. An early bird that's still in relatively good shape is worth around €45,000.